Welcome to Elaine Clark VO Real Talking Tips, where it's all about communication. I'm the author of There's Money Where Your Mouth Is, a complete insider's guide to earning income and building a career in voiceovers, and voiceovers for podcasting, how to develop a career and make a profit. I'm also the creator of 2 Elaine Clark apps, Activate Your Voice, 5-minute exercises to strengthen your speaking voice, and Adding Melody to Your Voice, speech improvement instruction and workout. This first series of micro-learning lessons is 52 weeks, so subscribe and tune in each week to Real Talking Tips for a new communication lesson. Episode 30, Word Emphasis. Let's add a wiggle and some jazz hands. Each element of the word emphasis chart adds variety and attitude to important words and phrases. An engaging speaker uses not only their voice, but their whole body to inform, motivate, and connect with their audience. The speaker's job is to create active listeners. So you're not just talking to someone, you're having a conversation with each individual person. You may have noticed that some people use volume and loudness to get the message across, or when they want to make a point. Nuance and variety in speech is much more effective. The word emphasis chart draws attention to how we speak and move every day, so the word emphasis is used strategically in conversation, speech, meetings, podcasts, and voiceovers. So far, we practiced adding a dot, arrow up, caret up, arrow down, and caret down to key words and phrases. In this 4th of 11 Word Emphasis Real Talking Tips mini-series, we're going to add a wiggle. That's the wavering sound that adds a fun movement to a word or a shimmer and haze to the voice. So get your jazz hands ready and wiggle your head, bottom, shoulders, and toes. Add a wiggle, sizzle, and jazz to key words. When we wiggle our body, it's usually accompanied by a smile. Wiggling is fun and playful, and our body and muscle memory remembers that. So let's connect with that playfulness, so not just the mind, but the whole body gets the message. Follow along with me now. Wiggle your head side to side. Alternate raising and lowering alternating shoulders, like you're doing the wave. Wiggle your bottom. Wiggle your toes. Raise your hands and shake them like you're doing jazz hands. Are you smiling? I hope so. Wiggling different parts of your body is a fun warm-up that can put a twinkle in your eye before talking, recording, or meeting someone. And notice how the pitch of the voice and attitude changes as the wiggle comes from the hands, head, shoulders, bottom, and toes. Not just the head, shoulders, knees, and toes song you may have sung as a child. The voice pitch is higher when the movement is at the top of the body and lowers progressively as it drops from the head to the feet. But what if you want to add a shimmer to the voice or sprinkle in a hazy quality? You wiggle the head slightly as you send the voice to the back of the throat. Listen to how that works as I move the wiggle focus from the front of the lip area to the middle of the mouth and to the back of the throat. Front wiggle, middle wiggle, back wiggle. While all 3 locations have playful wiggle movements, the closer to the back of the tongue, the more haze and shimmer there is in the voice. Put some sizzle in your wiggle and a haze to key words. Wiggling when we dance or get excited feels fun. It can also feel awkward if speaking in front of a group. Not to worry, you don't have to go crazy with it. A little wiggle goes a long way. You want to reserve the wiggle for special words or phrases so it adds focus to that word or key information rather than the whole message. Practice along with me as we start with the head and wiggle our way down to the toes. Take note of the pitch and attitude shifts as you wiggle the different body parts. 1. The head. When I wiggle my head, my voice rises. 2. Shoulders. When I create a wiggle wave with my shoulders, the voice kind of has some playfulness to it. 3. Hands. As I raise my hands to waist level, I wiggle them to create jazz hands. 4. Bottom. When I wiggle my bottom, my voice pitch drops and adds a little intrigue. 5. Toes. Inside my shoes, I'll wiggle my toes to bring the pitch lower. Now let's add a haze and shimmer to the voice. On the keyword shimmer, move the word to the back of the throat and tongue area. So you wiggle your head slightly and move it back there. You wiggle your head slightly and move it to the back of the throat. So these are ways that you can wiggle and shimmer and add all sorts of ways that you can add more focus to words. Now, don't be afraid to use jazz hands, a vocal shimmer, or a wiggle in your voice. It adds playfulness and focus to keywords and phrases. Just sprinkle the movement and sound in. Join me in the next word emphasis lesson as we learn to stretch out keywords. Oh, and it'd be great if you take a moment to click the YouTube video and subscribe and ring the bell for announcements or notifications. Listen and download the audio Real Talking Tips podcast in Apple Podcast, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Spotify, or Deezer. Check out the ElaineClark.com/podcast page to view the blog, watch the video, listen, and share the episode with your friends and colleagues using the social media links that are located at the bottom of the page. See you next time. Thanks for joining me on the Real Talking Tips podcast. To find out more, check out my books and apps and visit my website, ElaineClarkVO.com. Let's stay in touch. Become part of the Real Talking Tips community. Hit the subscribe button and use #RealTalkingTips, #ElaineClarkVO. You can also follow me on Twitter @ElaineClarkVO, Instagram ElaineClark.VO, and Facebook Elaine Clark Apps and Books. And don't forget to practice. It's all about communication. Go ahead, click the subscribe button.